Hey, Cross Park. Hope you and yours are well this week. Number of announcements, reminders for you coming your way. I'm going to try and list them off without too much explanation. There's always explanation in the emails and such. So just by way of reminder, number of things for you to be aware of and to be tracking. Youth retreat this weekend. So youth are leaving Friday evening, getting back Sunday evening. Nick DeVusser is speaking on the image of God. And I would encourage you to pray for the 18 or 20 youth that go and the 6 or 7 adult volunteers and parents that go. Youth retreats can be a really rich time in the life and growth of a young Christian. So I'd encourage you to be praying for our youth and for Nick and for the leaders that this would be a rich weekend for them. While they are away, the men of the church are going to gather Saturday morning at the house on Hemby from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. We will pray for our youth. We'll pray for our facility search team. We will pray for the kingdom of Christ to come into our own lives as the men of the church and flow then through us into our families and out through us as a church, even into our community. So brothers would encourage you to come pray. I will say you don't have to pray out loud when you come. It is valuable and worthwhile for you just to be there with your brothers and pray along with us if you don't feel comfortable praying out loud. We'd love for you to be there. So the house on Hemby, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturday morning. Please do come. Sunday morning in worship, we'll be looking at Romans chapter 9. I'll be the one preaching, Lord willing, and that's the plan anyway. Romans 9, I'd encourage you to give it a read ahead of time. And as you do so, please pray for me and for all of our hearts as the Lord has much to teach us through this beautiful, albeit challenging, somewhat mysterious passage. Romans 9 on Sunday morning. Next Wednesday, February 19th, the youth are meeting as well as 345 Club. So youth are going to pick up some of that momentum and traction they gained from the retreat this weekend and move right into meeting this coming Wednesday. So 345 and youth this coming Wednesday. Next Sunday, the 23rd, the facility search team has invited us as a congregation to pray about the search. So Sunday before worship, the 23rd, 9:45, the facility search team is going to lead in prayer and would invite you to come to that. So that'll probably be in Magnolia or Sycamore. It's the Sunday before we make our transition to our spring schedule. So you can kind of go ahead and start thinking about the spring schedule by showing up a little bit early on Sunday morning, the 23rd, for a season of prayer related to our facility search. And then the following Sunday, March 2nd, we will begin our spring semester. So that'll be Sunday school for all ages, beginning at 9:30, and then worship at 10:30. A couple of other things for you to note. Our missions team is looking to take a couple of trips this summer. Hopefully you've heard of this or seen it in the email. And there's currently an interest form trying to gauge the interest and availability of our congregation to participate either on a trip to Quito, Ecuador, which will be primarily for men's retreat, helping Carlos Ceballos, the pastor there, with a men's retreat. So that'll be primarily men. But then there's another opportunity in Lima, Peru, for families. So that would be either first week in July, first week in August. That's what we're trying to figure out. So please click the link to express your interest in that. There's a little short Google form that you could fill out that'll help us gauge interest in those opportunities this summer. Last thing to mention is just to remind you about the season that we're in of discerning the Lord's direction for us, seeking clarity on where He would have us be and the guidance that He would have, the direction He'd have for us with our facility search. Part of what we're doing with that, in addition to prayer on Sunday morning the 23rd and other prayer initiatives that Sonny Green will help lead us in, is reading together a book called Waiting Isn't a Waste. You've heard that. Jeff has already provided one video for us about the introduction in chapter 1. There'll be another video forthcoming in the coming weeks on chapter 2. But if you're curious where you should be in reading, just think what month it is. So January is chapter 1, February chapter 2, and so on until we get through the end of the book in June. So if you haven't already gotten your copy of Waiting Isn't a Waste, there still are copies available. Grab one on Sunday morning, and we would be happy to get that to you so that you can read along with us as a church as we seek the Lord's direction and clarity. And whether we figure out where a facility will be at the end of 6 months or not, our goal, our hope is that the Lord will have us in a posture, a disposition toward Him of humility and dependence, so that whether or not the facility question is answered definitively in June or not, we're more humble and we're more grateful and we're more like Christ. That's a good thing. As we seek to proclaim Christ, we want to be made more like Christ. And this is part of that in our ongoing discipleship together as a church. So, beloved, hope to see you Sunday morning. We won't see many of our youth and our youth volunteers on Sunday morning because they'll be on retreat. So pray for them over the weekend. And for those of us that can, we look forward to gathering together Sunday morning at 10:30. Grace and peace.